All right, all right. Good evening, good evening. Happy 6 de Mayo, the day after Cinco de Mayo. So, welcome to a new weekly Wednesday webinar. My name is Eddie Villanueva, your official MC of the weekly Wednesday webinars. We're so excited to have a new presentation, something that we haven't done before. And as Milton promised, every single time we enter a new season, this is season 4 of the weekly Wednesday webinar. He promises new surprises, things that you don't expect, prizes, raffle, you name it. He provides it all. And this evening, you're gonna have a surprise, surprise guest, surprise presentation, and everything. You see it in front of your screen. Insurance through USSFCU, what it is and how it works. I don't know if have you ever heard or if you know that we provide insurance. We partner out with TruStage, but hey, if you haven't heard anything about this service, please stay tuned for an exciting presentation because we all are going to learn something together. Once again, thank you so much for being here. If you're new to the weekly Wednesday webinar evening, welcome, welcome. And if you're a regular, thank you so much for your support. As we have said before, without attendees, this wouldn't be possible. So please share share the links. If you want somebody to register, if you have somebody at the house, you're like, hey, I'm about to watch this amazing webinar, pull them in. They can bring their dinner, their coffee, whatever it is that they're doing right now. But please, please make sure that they have this amazing knowledge as well. So thank you so much to each one of you. I see a lot of new names this evening, so welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for your support. And I see a lot of familiar names as well. So one reminder, if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, if you want to say hi, if you want to just send us a comment, we love the engagement. We want to make sure this is very engaging. It's a conversation going on. Please make sure that you write us through the chat or the Q&A feature. And Miss Andrea, can you please remind us, do we just ignore those comments? Do I just look at the question and I just put it in my pocket? What do we usually do with those questions?
Well, with all those questions that get, we will be answering each and every single one of your questions here tonight. Or if we can't answer them tonight, we'll send you an email with the answer to your question.
All right. Thank you, Miss Andrea Londono. She dropped the mic on us, telling us that the questions will get answered. And if we don't have the answer right away for you, best believe that we will follow up and send you a message with that answer that you need. It's 6:02. They only pay me to do this for 2 minutes, so I gotta pass the mic on. I gotta share the spotlight. I wanna pass it on to Miss Kim Fridley from the membership development team with the official introductions. Miss Kim Fridley, the time for you to shine is here.
Thank you so much, Eddie. And welcome to this week's Wednesday webinar, TruStage Insurance through USSFCU. My name is Kim Fridley. I'm the Membership Development Analyst here at the credit union. We also have on our panelist team our amazing, I say they're the best marketing team in the nation. I always say that. We have Andrea, which you already heard from. We have Eddie. You heard from Eddie. We have Carrie Lazar. You all know who Carrie is. She's the content queen. And then we have my trusted, amazing leader, Milton Aguilar Bolanos. He is the Membership Development Officer and Manager. And without further ado, we have a very special guest this evening. We have Charla Bloodsall. She is our representative with TruStage. She is the Consumer Insurance Solutions Specialist. I think she said she's been in the industry since 1996. She looks like she's only about 20 years old. So she focused on making insurance simple and accessible, helping credit union members understand their options, how that's so important to us as credit union employees and so important to you as credit union members. And she is here to guide all of us through coverage options and answering any questions that you have at the end. So make sure you use the chat, the Q&A, whatever you feel comfortable with to ask any question, and we'll do our best to answer them at the end. So welcome, Miss Charla. We're so glad to have you.
Awesome. You know what? You've inspired me to actually join the webinar in the future as a participant.
Awesome.
This is so super awesome. I'm so happy to have an opportunity to talk to you a little bit. Hi everybody. Like mentioned, my name is Charla Bloodsaw. I'm really happy to have an opportunity to sit in front of you this evening and talk to you about all things insurance. Really having the opportunity to talk not just about our product, but just talking about insurance overall, because sometimes people aren't as aware as we could be as it relates to insurance. But I got a task in front of me, and it's to make sure that you know about some great things that are going on at the credit union. And so, one of the things that I just want to make sure that I speak to right away is the fact that the credit union is partnering with Nationwide. Excuse me, I said Nationwide because I see it on the screen, partnering with TruStage to offer insurance products to the members. And it is an awesome opportunity for members to get access to insurance products that you may not have had an opportunity to actually find very easily on your own. And TruStage, and not just because of the fact that I work there, but TruStage is an awesome company. TruStage has been around for 90 years, and it was born at the table with credit unions many, many years ago, identifying solutions to help credit unions and its members live the best lives possible. You know, our mission is in alignment with the credit union's mission to help members live brighter financial futures. So that's just a super awesome mission, and all of us at TruStage actually work towards that. Now, you may have heard of TruStage in the past. We used to have a different name. It's CUNA Mutual Group. And CUNA, just the word, it stands for Credit Union National Association. So CUNA Mutual Group changed this name recently, in the last 3 years, to TruStage. And TruStage is actually the name of the insurance product that we offered for quite a few years as well. We actually have done insurance by way of working with credit union and its members for about 46 years, with the insurance programs being introduced directly to members. We've protected 23 million members. When you look at our membership counts across the country, we have 86% of the credit unions actually have some product with us. They endorse us as their trusted partner. Again, we were born at the table with credit unions years and years ago. And when something happens, like when something happens that, you know, is something that we don't like, or something that we, you know, could not have accounted for on how we're going to take care of it just by ourselves, we actually come in and provide protection to the tune of $1.1 billion and counting over the years. So it's one of those things, it's a signature to the great things that are all a part of the program. And I think what makes me even proud too is that for this year in 2026, and for the past three before it, Forbes has named us as one of the best insurance companies. And so we are a 4-year champion, and we are super excited about that because of the fact that all of us work really hard to try to deliver on the promise every day. So let's talk a little bit about insurance. I talked about TruStage. We're going to talk about insurance. So insurance isn't something you think about every day, right? So you see the code, and you see, and it also says, but when you need it, it matters. So there's a couple things that I can kind of align that with. But one of the things that I thought about today, it happened to me today, was I knew yesterday that I needed to go to the store to get laundry detergent because I knew I wanted to wash clothes today. And so today, and I didn't go. And so today I went to the washing machine in the desire to wash clothes, and guess what? I didn't have any laundry detergent. And it mattered right then to me that I did not do what I thought I was going to do the day before to make sure that today went very smoothly, because I knew I had a long day. So, sort of like what happens as relates to insurance. You know, we're living life. And as long as we're living life and things are going the way they usually go, you know, we're not necessarily thinking about insurance and what it does. But I can tell you that insurance does a whole lot. So when we think about it from that perspective, we think about why protection actually matters. Because here's why. Here's one reason why. Unexpected things do happen. I'm sure you can think back, to just things that have happened in your life where you never expected something to happen and it came up on you quick. Well, when it comes up on you quickly, oftentimes your pockets aren't prepared to actually take care of things that have a cost to it that's unexpected and happens. So you're like, uh-oh, so do I have enough money to take care of things? And so that's one thing. But then we live in a world where there are a lot of people who, because it's not top of mind or because it's never happened to them, maybe they don't even think about protection because they're like, well, it's never going to happen to me. I don't drive a vehicle or I don't own a home, so I don't need to even think about the concept of insurance because I never have anything that happens. Well, that leads to many people being underinsured or uninsured. And so if something happens and they end up driving a vehicle for a friend to take someone to the hospital or just to run an errand, and they have a situation that occurs, that person has no protection. So what happens to you when you're involved in that unexpected event? And then there's situations where people do actually have, things in place, but maybe what they have in place, maybe it helps some things, but it doesn't help like all the things that they want to protect. And so having the right coverage can help protect your financial future. Now, I said all the words that were on that slide, right? But here's what I want you to know. You are members of an awesome financial institution. And here's what's even greater about that. Your awesome financial institution gives you opportunity and access to things, products, and services that you need. I like to always say from a financial institution standpoint, they're on offense. They make sure that your money's in place, that it's growing, that you have a safe space to make sure that, all the things, all the dollars, all the assets are protected. Insurance is a great defense. When something happens, do I have enough things in place to be able to take care and protect those assets that the financial institution, your credit union, is helping you to grow? So when we talk about why protection matters because it serves as the best defense to protect the big dollars that you're growing. Okay, so let's talk about the concept of insurance. So I got some things here. We're going to talk about coverage options. I'm going to tell you a story to tell you a story. So when you think about the program that we have available and what you have access to, there are three products essentially that the program actually takes care of. It takes care of life insurance, it takes care of accidental death and dismemberment insurance, and it takes care of auto and home insurance. I'm going to talk a little bit about each of these as we move into them, but I want you to think about something as it relates to insurance. Like we mentioned earlier, don't tell anybody, but it's been 30 years I've been doing this whole insurance thing. I absolutely love insurance, but I do recognize that it may not be the most exciting subject of all, but I get excited about it, so I'm happy. When we think about insurance being a defense and we just understand the concept of insurance, many people have situations that occur and they think, okay, well, insurance should have taken care of that. Or why didn't my insurance company handle that situation the way I would have preferred? Or why couldn't I get that insurance policy because it looks like, I need insurance and everyone should be able to have access to it. And there's no denying that everybody should have access to insurance. But what insurance carriers do, and this is the educational part, they actually protect what goes into what is a shared pool. That's really what insurance is. It's a shared pool that understands that a person may have something happen. And if something happens, the person who is actually participating in that shared pool can actually pull money from that pool to be able to take care of their accident or their incident or whatever occurred. So the insurance carriers are actually the stewards of that shared pool. So in order to enter into that shared pool, there may be certain things that they want to make sure that are in place so that you can enter into the shared pool. So you're probably thinking, okay, well, is that a big deal? Well, it's a big deal because let's use the number 100. If there are 100 people in this shared pool, right? Or 99. And so you're interested in getting into that shared pool, the insurance steward is going to say, okay, well, here are the things that need to be in place in order for you to be a member of this shared pool. Not just for you, but to protect the 99 others who have put dollars into that shared pool. Because if something happens, you want to be able to be able to access it. Now, that's really a basic way of putting it. Insurance carriers do a lot more than just that piece. They actually reserve money so that they can be sure that we can take care of those claims and things happen, and to keep the company solvent so that because we know that big things can happen like catastrophes, but we want to make sure that there are dollars in the pool based on understanding upfront each of the people that are entering into the pool. So that's when you think about when we talk about things like, driving records and things like that. If let's say if it's an auto insurance policy, if a person has a real filled, fulfilling driving record, they kind of like a little bit of speed and things like that, and they have citations from the different systems to be able to support their love for that speed. They may not be able to get into the same pool as a lot of others because of the fact that their driving record may stop them from doing that. But the reason why the insurance carrier is saying, hey, let's pause, is because it's protecting the 99 that are in there that have put money into the pool. What it also does from a financial standpoint is it allows you to protect the monies that you have. So instead of having to exhaust all your savings and everybody's money, 401k, all of the different dollars that you may have in the world, instead of having to exhaust all of those dollars, you have put the money, you have paid into a shared pool with a contract that says if something happens, you're entitled to this amount. So that is essentially what is going on that's protecting your dollars, because now you have this instrument to say, I don't need to touch my savings. I don't need to touch any of the things, check the mattress, any of the things where money can be. This contract allows me to take care of those things that I need. So that happens, and this is very important as it relates to all of the insurance products, is the element that lives underneath it. So first, I'm going to look at life insurance. Life insurance is actually a product that takes care of if a person is no longer here. So when you're no longer here, or if you are very close to no longer being here because of the fact that you've been notified from, the doctor that you only have a short period of time left to live, the life insurance instruments will be able to help to take care of who you leave behind. So your beneficiaries in this case are those that you leave behind. From a life insurance standpoint, you'll hear people talk about things like whole life insurance policies, term life insurance policies, and universal life insurance policies. Those are the most common. The other names may be variations of that may, have like a mixed indexed universal policy and things like that. But life insurance, those three, when we just talk about that, life insurance term insurance is actually like a renter's policy. So you have it for a term, a period of time. Whole life insurance policies are life insurance policies that you have across your whole life. And a universal life insurance policy is one that you can actually work on kind of stretching that out your whole life if you want to, but you can kind of manage the dollars in it by way of what goes on as it relates to how it looks at the market from an indexing standpoint. Term insurance is lower in cost than whole life insurance protection because term insurance covers a period of time. Whole life is going to be with you until, as long as you pay your premiums, until your last breath. The great part about life insurance is it takes care of both accidents or health-related causes of the end of life. So that takes me over to accidental death and dismemberment. Accidental death and dismemberment actually is a life insurance type of instrument, but it takes care of if the end of life is based on accidents. Some type of accident occurred, and that accident either cause the end of life or you see dismemberment. And dismemberment means that something happened that interrupted the way that a person would normally perform their duties. Maybe it was the loss of a limb. Maybe it's a loss of, maybe something essential like an eye. And they can no longer perform in the same manner that they would before the accident occurred. A lot of times, it may be related to like a accident caused a total disability, a permanent disability, and you're no longer able to do things in the same manner. When that happens, accidental death and dismemberment insurance protection swoops in and it takes care of things to be able to assist you and to help you while you are alive. So there's a piece that's for your beneficiaries when you're no longer here, and the dismemberment part, you're the beneficiary because it swoops in to protect you. It's a product that actually pays you while you're still here because that accident caused an interruption in how you're able to function. And then there's good old auto and home. We all know about that. We see auto commercials all the time. In fact, one of the providers that helps us with the auto insurance protection, Liberty Mutual, you hear Emu, emu all the time. I mean, almost every day when I, turn on any kind of instrument of communication, the TV, the radio, I hear Liberty Mutual something, and I hear about, the emu. And the beauty of it is that it's awesome that the word is getting out as it relates to auto insurance and auto insurance protection. But auto insurance is protecting you when you are on the road. And it's protecting you also as a pedestrian if you're on the road and something happens and you're a pedestrian. So one of the things that's one of those things that people don't realize as it relates to auto insurance, but it's a very important coverage to have. And most states mandate that you have insurance protection. They even tell you minimally how much insurance protection you have to have. So auto insurance, important to make sure that when you're operating a vehicle, that protection is there. And you want to have that protection from a collision standpoint because what you're using to kind of get around, if something happens to it and it's no longer here, you want it to be replaced. So auto insurance, great protection, takes care of the cost of accidents that occur when you're driving. Or, like I said, walking as a pedestrian on a public road. And then you have homeowners insurance. Homeowners insurance is a protection that you need to have in place to take care of stuff that happens to where you dwell. Now, we call it homeowners insurance because in this case, it's a picture of a house. But homeowners insurance also covers however a person dwells. So if you're a renter and you need a rental policy, or if you live in a condo, and there's a condo owner's policy, of course, a landlord who owns properties, they want to be able to protect the property, and then the homeowner. So the homeowner's protection takes care of the contents inside of the home. So all of that stuff that you own. And if it's an actual homeowner's policy, it actually takes care of the structure itself. So it takes care of all of the stuff that actually tie to living in a home. The greatest part about homeowners, or kind of how we dwell protection, property owning products, is the fact that it also has a piece in there, as does auto, around liability. And that's what I'm responsible for. So if I'm in a car and I hit somebody and I cause the accident, I'm considered liable. If I'm at home and something happens and someone gets hurt on my driveway or gets hurt by way of something that happens from my home, then I'm liable for it. Both of those protections have the liability pieces built in. That's important because that's the highest cost oftentimes that insurers are paying out for. They're paying out for liability because someone says, you hurt me and you owe me. And when you owe me, generally that causes litigation and all kind of stuff. And with all insurance products, the beauty that happens with them is what happens as it relates to how protection comes by way of legal assistance, etc., to help to keep you whole. So I said a whole lot because I wanted to talk about those products, and now I am going to be able to kind of zoom through a few things that make it so you can really see the great stuff that's coming your way. So I mentioned life insurance, accidental death and dismemberment, and auto and that is actually property insurance too. Auto insurance and property insurance is available to you now by way of the relationship, the partnership that you have with TruStage. And in any case, whenever you're seeing anything like that, there's always some special bells and whistles that go with anything that you're working with. But our company, one of the things I should have mentioned is how much we're working to be innovative and how much we're working with technology to use different integrations and things like that just to make it easy and to provide education whenever you're looking at any of our products. So the very first one I'm going to talk about is our life insurance program. So our life insurance program, remember I told you there were like 3 different insurance types, life insurance types on an average. It's like, usually, generally, you have the term insurance, the whole life, and I mentioned universal life. Well, we have all of those except universal life. So we do have simplified and guaranteed issue whole life insurance products as well as term life. The guarantee issue whole life products are for a person who may be not able to operate as fully as they were in previous years, maybe before something happened and caused the interruption, or maybe it's a health concern that's causing them to kind of slow down a little bit. So the doctors are saying, I need you to, do a few more aggressive things so that you can get back to 100%. So there's insurance products even for a person who is going through a different medical kind of situation. But we offer simplified whole insurance and simplified term life insurance underwritten that allows your members to move into protection anywhere from $2,000 all the way up to $300,000 in insurance protection. And the greatest part is, on an average, what we're seeing as it relates to credit union members is the average credit union member is getting less than $25,000 in protection. And I'm going to show you why in just one second. They use an affordability calculator. And so it's really cool. And I'll show you that as well. So one of the things that makes it so easy for you to move into protection from going from no protection into insurance protection is the fact that our products are instant decision. We don't require a medical examination for any of the life insurance policies that you look at, and we give you a response in real time. So that is one of the main reasons. Those are some of the main reasons why your members actually move into the insurance products. Nearly 40% of the claims are actually paid at first time notification. We have processes that are bar none best in the industry. Things like making sure that we don't take your family members, your loved ones that you're leaving behind through a strained conversations over and over again. We communicate across all lines if something is happening, we've been notified that the person is no longer here. So your beneficiaries don't have to restate a story that's pulling at their heart cords. And even better than that, we have licensed professionals that help with that. And one of the reasons why the licensed professionals are so great is because of the fact that if you are interested in, it may be just accidental death and dismemberment, just the one side that might be the cause of the end of life. But the licensed professionals can help you to understand kind of the difference between the two and kind of walk you into to understanding the best product for you. So I told you I was going to show you this affordability calculator. And this is so cool. This right here is a snapshot of what it kind of looks like. So we just asked for a couple pieces of information, your zip code, your date of birth, and your gender, right? Those 3 pieces of information allow you to get a quote. Like I mentioned, 70% of the life insurance applications are instantly approved. Now, I was supposed to ask you a question, but I realized that we're in a webinar environment. But you see that circle at the top where it says 10. that 10 ties to 10 minutes to apply and enroll in buying life insurance protection. So what does that mean? In other words, you can go from no insurance to a whole lot of insurance in 10 minutes. Okay. And the reason why is because it's this easy. So those three pieces of information. And then once you put that information in, voila. So you get an awesome output. And according to the kind of device you're on, because you're able to see our information in any type of mobile device you might use. This will actually, it could be at the bottom of the page, but most times, in most cases, because you're on a cell phone or a mobile device, it'll just pop up as a different part of the screen. What will come up is a snapshot that says it's helping you, intuitively assisting you through the process. And so what you can see here is a dollar amount, and you can see over here some other products. Well, let me tell you what that dollar amount represents. It represents me. So at the end of every pay period, after paying all my bills, you would wonder, and drinking all of the coffee I drink and all of the stuff that I go through, I have $22.72 left, proudly. And even I, with $22.72, wants to buy life insurance because I need to protect those that I might leave behind. So I want to make sure they're protected. So with the affordability calculator, I can actually put in how much money I have and see how much coverage I get. As you can see on the screen, the closest to my amount was $23.70. It was $1 more. I figured one less coffee. And that's a gas station coffee. It's not my Starbucks. And it will give me $15,000 in coverage, or it gives me recommendations to say, you know what, based on what you mentioned, from a term life insurance perspective, you can get a lot more coverage. In fact, if you just kind of cut Starbucks out maybe 2 times a week, a month, you can have $175,000 of coverage. So I can look and work with these numbers and get to a number that's really good for me that I can pay out of my pocket and actually move forward. Once I press apply here, it will take me through a no more than 2 to 7 question application. I complete that. It does a check, and then it allows me to actually move into that insurance product. And if you think that was easy, you really need to hear about AD&D. So this accidental death and dismemberment, it is super easy as well. So here's the beauty of the accidental death and dismemberment. The credit union, your credit union, everyone that's here, you automatically, well, I guess it's not quite automatic. There's one little thing you have to do. I'll show you in a second. But you are gifted with a complimentary benefit of $1,000 of insurance protection just because you're a member of the credit union. Now, you will need to take an action, and I'll show you the action that you need to take in order to actually get that $1,000, but it's yours. The credit union has it all ready for you. This particular product is guaranteed acceptance. So it does not, if you have any medical conditions and things like that, it's not going to ask you any kind of medical questions. You'll see, I'm going to show you on the next screen. You have to be at least 18 years of age in order to enroll. In fact, for any insurance product, you need to be at least 18 years of age in order to enroll. And we also have access to riders that will help in the future down the pike if you were to actually experience critical illnesses like cancer, heart attack, and stroke, up to $20,000, not about, up to $20,000 of coverage protection that you can actually add on to your accidental death and dismemberment policy. And there also is a seatbelt and airbag responsibility. I like to say that complement that comes with the policy as well. So if you, in fact, have an accident and you have presence of a seatbelt in a car, or you're on an airplane and something happens and the seatbelt is shown to be on, there is additional dollars that come to you by way of the benefit up to $10,000 or 10%. Okay. Or by 10% up to $10,000 is the way I should say that to say it correctly. So that's just awesome in and of itself. But the design is even better too, because it really is quick. It takes about 3 minutes to actually go from no protection to actually accepting the protection or moving into more protection right from the application. These applications, along with all kind of information as relates to each of those products, are actually available on the website. And it's not available today, but it will be available. I think it's on Monday or Tuesday, so it's coming really soon. What you can also see, and I'll be fact checked later just to make sure that those dates were right. So what you see over here, big circle, you see the three. Takes about 3 minutes to fill out the application. It asks for a zip code, date of birth, and get your quote. It's guaranteed acceptance, so it's ready to roll. But remember I said you got to do something? So the next page that comes up, or the bottom of that same, if according to your device, is going to collect a few more pieces of information. It's already holding your zip code, it's already holding the date of birth. So now what it's going to do is it's giving you an option. It's telling you, don't forget, get your $1,000 of no cost coverage. And it's giving you an option to get more. You can see here, it's a little caret over here to the right of the number. And that caret is saying, if you select me, I got some other things that you can do. This coverage actually costs $1 for an individual, $1.50 for a family for every $10,000 of protection. So in this case, what is set there is at 100,000, and that 100,000 represents is $15. So it represents a family that wanted this protection. And so it's $15 a month. They have $100 of accidental death and dismemberment protection that they can use to take care of who they might leave behind. And is it important to have this kind of coverage? Absolutely. All kind of things happen. Accidents occur. And so this kind of protection, especially when you look at it as it relates to the cost, even in its lower amounts, $10,000, $20,000 of protection, it takes care of the cost of final expenses. It takes care of the cost of things that might occur. So it's something to definitely consider. But remember, your credit union gives you this coverage automatically, at least $1,000 of no cost coverage. So it's important to do this one little function and enroll now so you can have that protection. Now, home and auto, if you noticed, I don't have a little circle at the top that says this one is 5 minutes and this one's 10. This one could take a little longer, but oftentimes it doesn't take as long. I mean, you can get a quote in about a minute or two. So quotes can go really quickly. I'll show you a kind of quoting screen coming up shortly. But sometimes, especially when you're talking about home, property has a lot of nuances. When you're thinking about where you dwell, there are all kind of things, you got to know if there's security systems there and, about the stuff that's in the house and what if it's a house, the construction of the house and where it's located. Like maybe it's, you're near coastal water. So there's a lot of things that need to be considered there. Auto is a little bit more, some people call it transactional because it's like, okay, what kind of car do you have? Okay, so you start to plug in the VIN number. You kind of know those things. But these products actually take a little bit more time than the intuition that's built in the life and auto and home. And even still, it's not that much more time because nice tools that allow you to get the education that you need on the product and to easily move into it. So here's what you see here. This one actually shows you what it looks like when you're going into the auto and home area. It starts off with the auto quote. We know how people actually operate vehicles. We know at 18 you can operate a vehicle, so you are kind of eligible for auto insurance for the most part. There may be some different things that may scenarios that may not allow that 18-year-old to be a driver. But for the most part, 18 years old, able to drive, need insurance because you're out there. And so this actually talks from the auto perspective. We don't necessarily know how a person dwells, so our marketing gears towards the auto. And so this screen is actually one that's driving a person to get information as it relates to auto insurance. So they're on this landing page, zip code, date of birth, start your quote, and it actually takes you into another screen that actually asks for a few more pieces of information. Okay, what's your name? We got your date of birth already. So give us some more information. So it's about 6 questions on there. And after those 6 questions are answered, what kind of car is it? Make, model, VIN number, those kind of things. And then what comes out is different carriers that actually want to provide a quote. And so this is the experience if, in fact, when you fill out the information over here to the far left, that far left actually identifies that you would go through our digital agency. Now, there may be times when you fill this out, it says you're going to our Liberty Mutual and its choices, because there are a lot of choices within the Liberty Mutual product as well. But all the same, the environment is designed to help you to move through the quote process in a very in a seamless way and in a much shorter period of time than what you would do if you were just kind of looking at things without having a resource like what you have by way of the credit union. So I just showed you this comparison slide here of, the different quotes that come out. And so that takes me to the story of the aftermath. So sometimes, you may have in the past, you got a new car or you're interested in a new car. Let's go with you're interested. So you're interested in a new car and you're like, and I don't know if I'm gonna keep the same insurance company because my rates keep going up. So I'm gonna look for somewhere else. And so you go to Zebra or you go to Insurify or you go to one of those aggregators that can give you comparison rates and you plug in the information. You're so excited about it because you're going to get this, beautiful car and you're so excited. And so what happens is you start getting all these different people who want to give you kind of rates and want you to bind coverage with them, and they're coming your way really quickly. And then it gets to be kind of annoying. And so you walk away from the computer and you're like, okay, so I'm never going to have to think about that again. And then you look at your email or you look at your text messages and they're like, you still get in the car? Did you get your insurance? We have insurance for you. And it's like popping up everywhere. You're like, what in the world is this? And so then you decide, you know what? I don't like that car anymore because I can't figure out how to get that car for my $22.72. So I'm going to not get that car. I'm going to use this car I have. I'm just going to get the oil change like they recommended that I do because it's a good car. And it's a week later. And there's the reminder about that decision that day when you went on Zebra, and they're calling and their emails and it's calls and you're like, what's going on? The experience is so important. And the relationship that we have with the credit union protects all of that unnecessary extra stuff. You can actually get the rates, get the things that you need without the aftermath by way of this process. I said that story so you would know this is beautiful, if for nothing else, just that. So just remember that this gives you the opportunity to get comparison rates, comparison quotes, and not have to go through having all of the extra conversations. I think it's awesome, but I'm a pay representative too, but I still think it's awesome. Okay. And so, like I just mentioned, as it relates to the aftermath, your privacy matters. So you're in the relationship. The relationship is actually one where we will contact the members about the protection, but the contact points are what are so essential. You've been learning about fraud and offers and stuff that comes into your, different areas, and just to be aware of it. And so it was so super important that we make sure that we talk about how important the privacy is. So this program, the way that you'll find out from right here, right? But the way most of the members will find out is because they're going to receive marketing. They're going to receive a letter that actually talks about the insurance protection by way of the postal mail. And eventually you might get an email, but right now by way of postal mail. So you'll get a letter in your mailbox, and I'll show you a snapshot of it. And the letter will tell you a little bit about insurance. What we want to make sure that you're very aware of is that your data is protected under strict financial privacy standards, because insurance, just like financial institutions, have very, very strict compliance and legal requirements and regulations that have to be in place at all times. And so, with that said, it is so super, super important to us to make sure that there is nothing that you'll see that you shouldn't see, that it comes from us. So we want you to know what you will see. And so I have an exhibit that shows that. So there's security practices that are regularly reviewed by way of compliance, our compliance, and you stay in control of your preferences. So, like I mentioned, down the pike, it'll be things like emails right away. There'll be things like mailers to your mailbox. When I say that you'll kind of stay in control of it, it's because of the fact that you can actually, if you don't want to receive any marketing, you can actually tell the company, I don't want to see this marketing anymore. So you can either call us, you can let the credit union know, however you want to do it, we can actually make sure that your world is just the way you want it to be. So here's some things why your credit union offers this. It's because we're trusted partners. We were born at the table with the credit union. It's designed to be a great defense for that offense that the credit union serves to protect you with all the time, and is focused on helping you protect what you've built, okay? And it's all about supporting your overall financial well-being. I mentioned letters. Here's a copy of here's what the letter looks like. Here's just a sample of what the letter looks like. You can see the letters are very functional. I mentioned that you'll see letters from us. Eventually, you'll see emails. The letters, in addition to just being very functional, for AD&D and for life insurance, you can take the actions to accept coverage or to move into coverage by way of dropping the mailer back in the mail. That's the beauty of seeing the mailer versus any other way, because that's an easy way for you to take care of things. You can call us, or you can do it yourself online. But that's an example over to the left of what a mail piece would look like. And over to the right, this is an example of what the email looks like. And it's super great because there are multiple areas on the email where you can actually look and take actions. You can click to actually quote a policy. You can make a call and dial the number. And it makes it so it's very easy for you to take an action. But I think what's most important on the email is what's listed here. Let's say you're looking at that email and you're like, it's wonderful, it's nice, but I don't want to see any more emails. Every time I get an email, I start to get hives, and I just really don't want to get the hives from the email. So you can actually unsubscribe. So you can actually use the email too. So I mentioned you can call and tell us, and that's over here. Or you can call the credit union and they can remove you out of mailers. But you can also, by way of the email, you can unsubscribe and you can take yourself out of all of the marketing that way as well. So wanted you to know that. And okay, let's see. I got a little bit more, and I think I'm pretty close. I think I'm at the end, y'all. Okay, so here's what I want you to know. You know how you tell somebody and then you tell them what you're going to tell them, you tell them, and then tell them what you told them. Here's the tell you what you told them. So all the things I said are fact checkable, if that's a word. They're fact checkable by way of the website. So you could go onto the website, go into the area with TruStage, see the information that's out there that talks about all of the products, see the functionality of things like the life insurance calculator and the look at the AD&D information, all kind of great information that's out there. We want you to. And we accept feedback. So I thank you so much for listening to this story. And I welcome any questions that you have. And I thank you for the time too, because you didn't have to listen to me this long. I'm finished.
All right. Thank you so much, Miss Charlotte. That was amazing. And you know what? Let me just start by saying, this is something that a lot of our members have been asking. Do we provide, life insurance, home insurance, all this type of insurance that we just talked. there have been some of the things that ever since I joined a credit union about 3 years ago, somebody was always asking, and we cannot tell you how excited we are that now we can officially say, starting on May 11th, that's on Monday, we will be able to start taking applications and start changing people's lives. So again, we are so thankful for this partnership. Your presentation has been amazing, truly eye-opening, especially if you don't have life insurance yet, or the disability. I mean, what are you waiting for? It truly, it's just adds a little more peace of mind to everyone. And regardless of your age, I think that's another thing that is also very important to keep in mind. So again, Ms. Charlotte, thank you for this amazing presentation. Most important, for this partnership that we are so looking forward to be able to have an impact on all of our members' lives. So thank you so much. With that being said, Ms. Londono, do we have any questions in the chat or the Q&A?
Yes, yes, we do. Okay, so the first question is, a live agent usually gives a better quote than doing it online. Is a live agent available if we prefer to talk to one?
Absolutely. Thank you for that question. Yes, we have call centers. Our life insurance call centers are 15 by 5, and our auto and home call center is 15 by 7.
Our next question, Carrie answered it already, but can you please give 800 phone number again? Thank you. And I'll read that out loud. So the 800 phone number for TruStage is 840 or 428 3932. And then our next question is, can I cover my spouse or children too?
On all of the products, yes.
Okay.
And if you're talking just the AD&D product, you would just select family.
And are these coverage options available in every state?
Yes, you know what? We had the word nationwide on the first slide, so I said nationwide, and it's because my mind hit nationwide. I'm thinking that should be countrywide because nationwide is another company, right? So anyway, so I'm like, but yes, we are in all 50 states. That's the other reason why partnering with us is such a great thing to do. It's because we're countrywide.
Perfect. And is this call being recorded? And can you share the recording? So this one is for Carrie. And
Yes, it's being recorded, and I will share it as soon as it's ready and post it on YouTube.
do you have multi-line discounts, etc., like auto and renters insurance?
We sure do. We sure do. So
And
it's just like anything. You love the fact of the relationship and you give discounts as you have more relationships. So yes, we do.
perfect. And our next question is, I just purchased a home. Is there insurance that will automatically pay off a home if I die?
So if you pass away, that would be life insurance that would take care of that. So there are a couple ways that you can actually make sure you're taking care of that, by way of the lending on the lending side, making sure that there is some kind of mortgage protection there. And a lot of times what people do, because they want to protect more than just the home, maybe it's something else too, a few things around the home. So they get a life insurance policy and that will take care of, the home as well as the other things as well.
And before we go to the next question, Andrea, one thing that I did want to emphasize, and one of the reasons why we partnered with TruStage for this type of services is because TruStage approach it is so identical to the approach of the credit union. And what we mean with that is we always say we're people helping people, right? So and that is the same mentality that TruStage has. Because let's be honest, I mean, I think Charlotte mentioned there was a few names that slipped out of herself, that companies that offer insurance. But those are your traditional insurance, right? That's all they do. I mean, they're just trying to find a way to make a quick buck out of your pockets. And their approach might not be the same as it is with TruStage. And again, that is one of the reasons why we partner with TruStage, is because we go hand in hand in terms of the experience that we provide, being upfront, providing all of those details, answering your questions. Because you want to make sure that you understand everything that you're signing up for, right? You don't want to just go ahead, talk to somebody and they're not really listening to you. They're just waiting for you to stop so they can throw all the different policies that perhaps you don't even need. So again, that's what TruStage is going to do for you, and that's why we are so excited. Again, effective May 11, you probably will be receiving some marketing materials from us, all right, Eddie and Andrea. And I know that we have a mailing campaign, an emailing campaign that will go out as early as Monday. But again, when you talk to those representatives on the 800 number, you are going to get that level of service that you are so familiar with here at the United States Center for Clean. So that's one of the things that I did want to emphasize as to why we partner with TruStage to provide this type of coverage, which is so important. Again, you don't have to be sick in order to seek life insurance or any type of insurance. Do it when you don't need it. That is one of the advices that I would always give to anyone. So similar to when we talk about budgets, right? Or finances, and how the budget should always be there regardless. Don't try to put a budget when you are in a pickle and you're trying to come out of a dark hole. Do it before so that you don't get to that situation. It's the same thing here with insurances. So again, always take a proactive approach rather than a reactive approach that you want to have. And again, just gives you all the peace of mind, especially if you have families, if you have little ones. You want to make sure that your loved ones are taken care in the event that something happens to you. But again, let me go back and send it back to Andrea and Eddie and see if there's any more questions there. I'm sorry that I get very passionate about this type of product, by the way, Charlotte, as you can tell. But I just wanted to make sure and make it clear to everyone here to listen and there will be listening in the near future, that the TruStage will provide that for our members. Similar service that we do for them when we take care of them. When it comes to their finances, you guys will do the same thing on the insurance side. So thank you again.
And fun fact, we have working projects together with TruStage. And one of those projects is the Cherry Blossom Run that we do every single year. I know that TruStage is one of the partners as well. So, and now we have this amazing official collaboration. So as you can see, Charlie is the expert. She got all the questions for you. Better than ChatGPT, I can tell, because she knows it all from top to bottom. So best believe that if you have any questions, any concerns, she will put you in the right path for you to get what you need to get. There's a question, one last question, Charla. Is there such a thing as a car being too old for insurance, or do you have like some type of classic vehicle type of insurance to cover those vehicles that perhaps will be from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and so on?
So the providers don't have, the ones that are part of the TruStage Auto and Home program won't be able to help with the classic vehicle, but we do have resources like Haggerty and a couple other insurers that we can actually refer you to. So if you have a question like that, please let it come our way. In that case, I would talk to someone at the call center, because the call center licensed professionals can actually direct you to the right group. But there is protection available for cars that are considered classic vehicles, but they just are kind of out of scope for the Auto and Home program.
That sounds very familiar, because here at the credit union, when a member comes with a need or a concern, and then we need to partner them up with somebody, we do the same thing. So as you can see, TruStage and USSFCU, we in sync, that we want to make sure that we help our members get the best of our products and services. So thank you for explaining it, Charles. I think At the beginning you were saying that you wanted to be part of the weekly Wednesday webinar. Be careful what you wish for, because you might be getting an email from Carrie, coming soon to be one of our official presenters. And again, this evening has been amazing. A lot of great questions, so many new things that I don't think I'm the only one. I'm sure the panelist team learned something new as well. And then Milton, do you want to give everybody a preview for what's happening next week? And then perhaps Miss Kim can bring it back home after you tell us what's happening next Wednesday.
Absolutely, Eddie. And again, Charlotte, I want to take this time to again thank you for this opportunity, for taking your time. We know you're busy, but we can also see you're very passionate about informing and sharing, your experience when it comes to insurances. So again, thank you. It's been a pleasure to have you and have you lead this presentation. And most important, for this new partnership that we have just established. So thank you again. And I know one of the things that Charlotte mentioned during the presentation was about the steps that they take to protect all of the members' information regardless of their age. And so that is kind of in line as to what we're going to talk about next week, because protecting our members' information is definitely one of our keys, especially for those that are a little more vulnerable. And I'm talking about our elders. So next week presentation is all about protecting what matters. So preventing elder financial abuse. It is definitely a topic that I know we always get requests to do, and we are so excited to bring that presentation again next Wednesday. So please join us again next Wednesday at 6 p.m. We're going to have an amazing webinar ready for you all, and we cannot wait to have you here with us. And make sure that you spread the word. Let everybody know, what the United States Senate for Credit Union, especially the weekly Wednesday webinar team, season 4, right, Eddie? The things that we are doing here and how we are so passionate about giving back to our members, educating, providing you resources and tools that we know that you need, that are so important. And just like today, right, we're talking about insurance. Next week, it's all about how we can protect our elders and our families. Because if there's one thing for sure, we know that the bad guys, those criminals, that are always looking for a slip 1 second where you get distracted, and then that's all they need. And what they do with all of their information, all the different scams that they're out there, especially now with AI. I don't want to get too deep into it because I might as well just do the presentation tonight, right? But please come and join us next Wednesday. It's going to be a great one. But I'm going to have Kim bring us home. So, Ms. Fridley.
Thank you, everybody. And Charla, I just want to say, awesome presentation. Thank you so much for being here, being our subject matter expert. And to those of you who joined us tonight, we always say, no members, no credit union. Well, no webinar participants, no webinar. So we value you and we appreciate you. Spread the word. We truly care about your financial wellness. And tonight kind of validates that. Even your insurance needs, we care about. So join us next week. And remember, we truly appreciate you. So thanks, everybody. Have a great